Yeah, man, I gotta say, things are looking up for me. I'm kinda like a celebrity now. The paparazzi won't leave me alone when I go out to the Coral Highlands. I can't go more than 5 feet without seeing a flash in the distance. It's like they can't get enough of me, dude. I bet I'm even more famous than you now. You might be the Sapphire Star, but I'm the Superstar. Okay, first off, I didn't ask you how you were or anything, or even talk to you. I just got back from a mission and you started talking to me. Who starts a conversation like that? Secondly, I straight up do not believe you've ever been to the Highlands, or even left that stool. Like, ever. And third, there's no paparazzi in the New World. And if there were, they'd have to be idiots to be out in the wild with a bunch of dangerous monsters around every corner. You know, the same kind of monsters we hunt for a living? And it's a monster that's causing all those flashes you saw, not people taking pictures of you. We hunt monsters? Okay, that does it.
Tactical nuke incoming!
Sight, often said to be our most important of all the five senses, as we perceive up to 80% of all impressions by means of sight. Plus, since our brains are basically right behind and also connected to our eyes, it is perhaps the quickest way for us to receive and process information. But in an area with large amounts of stimuli already, our vision can be used against us, as things such as bright lights or intense glares can cause a sensory overload, reducing our brain's capacity to process information. And today's topic, monster, has actually weaponized this to become a light bright as a star itself, which isn't great when it's 20 feet away from you. The swift flash of the Coral Highlands, the Dazzling Bird, Tzitzi-Ya-Ku. A dromaeosaur similar to many other smaller bird wyverns like Great Azuchi, Velocidrome, and its close relative Kulu-Yaku, Tzitzi-Ya-Ku has a small and lithe frame balanced on two muscular legs that let it run at incredible speeds. Its feet also end in sharp claws, along with its surprisingly strong arms that help it climb the rocky cliff sides of the Coral Highlands. Or, of course, grasp prey and prevent them from escaping. Its back is also lined with short but sharp spines that would make jumping on its back a rather poor idea. It also has one more unique trait based on the fins on the side of its head, but we'll talk more about those later. Now, being the smallest large monster on the map, and the smallest carnivore that doesn't hunt in a pack, Tzitzi-Ya-Ku is pretty low on the food chain, and thus has developed its navy blue coloring to blend in with the coral of the highlands. It also stays down in the lower areas of the biome, for the most part, where it can avoid confrontation with the big threats like Legiana, Halumu, and Odogaron. And in keeping with that idea of avoiding confrontation, it is also relatively peaceful to humans, as long as you give it proper space and don't get in its way too often. Its only real competition are the Shamos that inhabit the lower areas as well. It can take on 1 or 2 Shamos on its own with little problem, but 3 or more and it quickly finds itself in trouble. But thankfully, it can easily get itself out of trouble with the fins I mentioned earlier, that really help the enemy see things Tzitzi's way. Housed within each of the two fins are organs known as photophores, which pulse and unleash blinding flashes of light that cause the sensory overload I mentioned earlier, leaving whoever witnessed it stunned and vulnerable. Except for Odogaron, because they're almost blind. It's unknown exactly how these organs work, whether it be from synthesizing of microorganisms in its body, or due to its diet of luminescent coral and flying medusa, little glowing jellyfish that fly around the highlands. But what we do know is they pulse these organs to create blinding flashes of light, giving the raptor an opportunity for a quick escape or an opening to attack, or to bring down and stun their prey to make them easier to catch, kill, and eat. It's also for this reason that they can sometimes be seen gathering small, shiny shells throughout the highlands, which they line their nests with, since they can also reflect and diffuse light to either amplify the initial flash or rebound the flash to blind their opponents if they somehow avoid the first flash. This may be for protection, but it's also believed males do this to put on a better light show to impress the females. And despite what I said about Tzitzi wanting to avoid confrontations, they for some reason like to be trolls, often running to wherever a fight is currently happening, be it between a hunter and monster or just two monsters fighting, blinding and stunning everyone in the area, then running off just as suddenly as it happened. Some find this annoying, but the majority of hunters, myself included, find this to be incredibly helpful, just as long as you shield your eyes from the flash or prepare for this with ways to protect yourself from being stunned. You have basically just been given a free opening to attack your target.
You have earned the coveted
Side blade.
nod of respect. I just nodded.
So, what do you have to worry about when fighting the Tzitzi-Ya-Ku? Well, like I've mentioned about a dozen times at this point, it can blind you if you do not shield your eyes in time, causing the sensory overload and leaving you vulnerable to its next attack, which will come from either very sharp claws and teeth, or having it crush you with its weight when it pounces on you. But it has to pulse and charge up this organ to unleash the big flash, so you know what's coming and can get out of range in time. Or, like I said, cover your eyes, or maybe wear some shades. And if you're too close, it can kick you with its extremely powerful legs, which will definitely not feel good. Just keep on the move, anticipate its movements, and get out of the way, then land your strike in time and you'll be fine. Also, if you attack its head and break its fins, it can't do the flash anymore. Even though, in my opinion, you would be the monster for doing that. You monster. So that's technically all there is to know about Tzitzi-Ya-Ku itself, but one last important thing I feel I should mention is Tzitzi's importance to the Commission allying with the Grimalkine tribe of the Coral Highlands, a band of musically gifted felines simply known as troopers. After having trouble with a pair of Tzitzi-Ya-Ku, they learned to communicate with, tame, and ride the Shamos, arguably Tzitzi's biggest enemies. Unfortunately, the excitement and newfound power quickly went to their heads, and they tried to test their new abilities by trying to murder my niece Teko. Luckily, she handled the problem and her mother never found out about it.
His mother's already Nazi cuckoo!
But Tekka worked things out with their leader, took down the two raptors, and now we can ride Shamos, and our felines can play fancy instruments. And so, that is the full story of Tzitzi-Ya-Ku. Easily the monster least likely to kill you in the Coral Highlands, and might even come by and give you a hand in a tough hunt. It's quirky, interesting, and iconic. Just being a straight-up raptor and being a living flashbang is really cool. And in a way, it's similar to the light it produces. It's a beautiful and stunning show in brief glances, but look for too long and you could easily be blinded by its intensity. So, there you have it, everyone. Those are my thoughts on Tzitzi-Ya-Ku. Probably my favorite raptor in the entire series. I just love its colors. The raptor look is just, like I said, so iconic and really cool looking, and I like its sleek, streamlined design. Its fins are pretty cool when they're, just unfolded, and when they, or when they're folded up, and when they unfold, they look really cool. And I like the idea of just a flashbang monster and, something that, stuns monsters. We don't have a lot of just monsters that do straight up stun as their gimmick. Like, yes, we have Gypceros, but Gypceros also does poison, which is, at least to me, very annoying. And so, yeah, and it's cool that, like I said, it's kind of the reason we teamed up with the troopers in the Coral Highlands, which is nice. I personally don't use the trooper feline tools too often, or at all really, but it's still just nice to have the extra hand every so often, especially back then when I did not have PlayStation Plus and didn't play with other people to make hunts easier. So for next time, I'm kind of unsure what I want to do. I'll leave it up to you guys in the comments. Here's the two options I'm thinking. A is we continue on the bird wyvern train for a little bit and I actually do a lore for Gypceros. Or, now that I have just recently gotten Monster Hunter Stories 2 on my Switch, I might be thinking of doing a lore on, like, rider culture and the rite of channeling. So, yeah, those are the two options. Let me know what you guys think down below. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. If you like this and want to see more, go ahead and slash that subscribe button. If you like this video, give a quick cut to the like button. Leave a comment down below. Share it around with all your friends. Be sure to click the notification bell so you never miss it when I upload a video. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Then I'll see you in the next video. But until then, Bladies and Swordsmen, stay sharp.